Hey, welcome back to AYS on the Gridiron. This is John Bowman with you again, talking a little bit about football, youth football in particular. And a young man today who is on the show with us, Josh Ford, is a young man who came out of the Denver area and is now, made his way all the way through the Arena League. He's a kid, like I said, from the Mount Bello area. Josh, welcome to the show.
Hey, John, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Not a worry, I'm well. Hey, take us through a little bit of your youth football league. Now, you played out in Mount Bello, right?
Yes, sir. I was a Montbello Falcon. I grew up. My first team was the Montbello Falcons all the way through up until it was time to go to high school. It was a bit of a journey, growing up and playing for the Falcons. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, because there's another Falcons around too, right?
Right. You got the Montbello Falcons. You got the Park Hill Falcons.
Yep.
And growing up, man, it was a crazy time. But it taught me a lot about the game and about life. And I had to work and I had to compete. But I mean, ultimately, I got to use football as a vehicle, man. So, it was a great time and much love to the Montbello Falcons.
And when you were coming up, was football always your game, or did you play other sports?
I mean, growing up, when I started out, like my thing was geography. That was my first bailiwick coming up. Like that was my thing I like to do. And then, one time, my mom was like, "Hey, you gotta do something." So we went and we tried football out, and it worked. But basketball was really following geography. Basketball was my thing, but football just kind of took over.
Right.
So
Right. What was the difference for you in terms of basketball and football? Did you like the hitting, or did you like the floating through the air?
I I like the hitting of football. With basketball, it was just I just like Ray Allen coming up. I wanted to be like Ray Allen. All my pictures is me saying I want to be like Ray Allen. But you get on that football field, it was just like, okay, this is what I want to do. So yeah.
What position did you what position did you wind up playing most? I guess that's the way to look at it, because you play everything when you're coming up.
Right. I started out. I was on the O line. I was on the O line. Surprisingly, I ain't really like that. Everybody want to touch the ball, and I felt like I could touch the ball. It took some time, but I finally, want to say like intermediate level. I forget the level, but one of my coaches was like, "We gonna give you the ball." But defense, I was always a beast at like linebacker and everything like that. Um, So yeah, I played O line, then I moved to D line, linebacker. I played D line actually going into high school, and that's when my high school coach Dave Logan was like, "Nah, we gonna change you because you're a running back."
Yeah.
So yeah,
What about that guy Dave Logan? He's a pretty decent coach.
yeah, he's a great coach. Taught me a lot about the game. He was, like I said, he was the first person because I wanted to play D line. I had a nasty swim move, and I was real quick, and I could get around those guys, and I was strong. I had a strong, push pull game. And Coach Logan was like, I want you to play in running back. And, my freshman year, he threw me in at a scrimmage. And I was getting loose. And he was like, yeah, you're going to be my running back.
There you go. There you go. And now, how big are you?
I'm 5'10", 210.
D line. That's pretty tough quarters right there
Yeah, yeah,
for a small guy.
yeah, But like I said, it was at the time it was just really the heart. And like I said, I had the techniques, to beat the guys,
Yeah, quicker.
But
Yeah.
Coach Logan was thinking about like the future and everything like that and where to fit at. So he made the call, we made the move, and led me to state championship, MVP at Mullen High School, and as well as K State and CU.
So yeah, after high school, you had some offers.
Yeah, after high school, so it was crazy. After high school, I didn't even have any offers, man. Surprisingly, everybody said I was too small. Um, and what happened was I had my academics was intact, and I did a lot of extracurricular like activities to make my resume look good. But I actually had an academic scholarship to K State.
That's even
And
better, because
yeah,
you get your little stipend and everything. You get your money.
right.
Don't have to worry about selling shoes or tickets or any of that kind of mess.
Right. You know, and I went to K State, and like I said at the time, I didn't understand it. I went to K State, and I walked on, you know, and it came time like they were gonna offer me a scholarship, but at the time, I didn't really like. I was misinformed, like my book says, which we'll talk about later. But I was
Sure.
misinformed on a lot of things, and you know, I wanted to come home. I wanted to run the streets. I wanted to. It was just a lot of things that I wanted to do. And you know, Sean Snyder, Coach Snyder's son, was like, "Hey, we have a scholarship for you. We want you to do this, that, and the third." And, you know, I didn't take care of the things that they required. Led me to dropping out, and ultimately, you know, not doing anything.
Wow. And how
Yeah,
long was it before you wound up at CU? How much
it
time did you take off?
it took like it was like I want to say it was like 5 months,
Okay.
maybe 5 to 6 months. It was one of those things. I got an uncle Virgil who's really supportive and a guy who's always been in my corner, Virgil Toombs, and he basically was like, "Yeah, this ain't happening. You know, you got to get up and do something." So I ended up going to a community college just to get my grades right. Because like
Right.
when you leave, like my transcript was all jacked up from K State, obviously. I went to a community college to get my grades right, and that's when you know, I was like, yeah, I want to go to CU. Like, you see, because I went to Mullen and everybody was going D1.
Yep.
So I'm like, I got to get back at it. And, you know, my uncle, Howard Balaj, was a CU legend. I had my cousin, Rodney Billups. He was up there coaching. And like I said, a lot of my former teammates were up there. So I was like, you know, we reached out to CU. I was able to, my grades were good. And then I was able to show them, like, I was able to be honest with them at the time. I said, hey, this is what happened, but they got to see the progress. So I
Yeah.
had like, I go from like a horrible GPA from leaving to like a 3.5. And I
Okay.
told them like the journey and what I was going through. I just was real honest in my letter, admission letter, and things of that nature. And, you know, they see you accepted me. And from there, I was able to work and get a scholarship, man.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Now, how many years did you play at K State?
I was at K State for like a semester.
Okay. you
Yeah, I was
you
at K
really
State
figured
for
it
like
out.
a semester.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was bad, but I mean, you know, much love to K State. You know, with that experience, it really showed me a lot, especially coming from Colorado. That was my first time understanding, like, yo, the world is much bigger than Colorado. Because, like I said, I was an MVP of the state championship game, so I left Colorado on top. I was
Yeah.
the man. You get to K State, and you see guys from, you know, Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, Mississippi, Missouri. Like, I got to really see, like, what it was like, and that, you know, forced me to like step it up. So.
And yeah, that's what I was going to ask you in terms of the kind of ball that you were used to and the kind of ball that you played here in Colorado. How did that stack up? You know, at the high school level with some of these other young men coming out.
How did it stack up with like people out of
In terms
state
of in
or
terms of where did you were the number one kid in the state of Colorado.
yeah,
Now you
yeah.
come in with all these other young men. How where did you find yourself in terms of,
Uh,
were you on the top or were you in middle or
It was crazy because I mean, honestly, like I'm not even gonna lie, I was still competing. I guess it's just the heart, you know, and this is kind of like the same heart that Phil has. You know, Phil was that's like my little brother, yeah, Phil Lindsay. And it's we just have this heart about us. My thing was it was just the first time where everybody was good, you know what I mean? And like I said, I still competed and I was right there with them, but it was just more so of a thing where you see other people look down on Colorado. Uh,
yeah,
like, oh, you from Colorado? Like, they're gonna take that kid over you. And this is how it was at the time. This was a while ago. I mean, now things are changing and we're finally getting our respect. But yeah, at the time it was like Colorado, like you know. And I'm like, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But
Take
you
this
know,
liquor back to the huddle.
yeah. But they were, you know, I mean, we all have our skills and stuff. I seen a different level of speed. You know, the fastest people I've seen in my life. I saw that, you know,
Did you
Brandon
see?
Banks was a
Have you watched?
receiver there.
Do you watch any of the combine stuff? Have you
Yes,
seen
sir.
any of it? Have you seen some of these guys that are like 350, running 5.51, running 4.8, stuff like that? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
these guys are huge.
And it's the level up, man, and you know, I think it comes from, you know, what I like to call, because my motto and what I live by is we have the cage breakers, which is, it's pretty much about no limits. That's what
Good.
it comes down to, breaking out of the cage. That's the company I'm with. That's my motto, everything. And from that, like, we see, like, there, you don't have to, we used to wait for permission to be great, or we used to have to see somebody do it and then we do it. But now these kids are going out there like, no, I'm going to do this, and they really do it. It's kind of like that story of the first person who broke the mile in under
Yep.
4 minutes. When
Ryan
they did it,
Bennett.
somebody else did it. You know, and so it's like it's no limits. If you want something, you can really do it. We don't have to like dim our light anymore as people, and that's what these big guys are showing us. Like, just because I'm a big guy, I don't have to be sloppy. I don't have to fit. I can really work hard, be muscular, and still produce.
Yeah, I saw
So.
that one kid on, what is he on LSU? He's 6'7", uh, 379 or something like, or I mean, he's just huge, huge. He's like a door. He's like he's like big as a door. Hey, I played for a UICC, which is University of Illinois Circle campus, and they didn't
Oh,
even have we didn't even have a locker room back when I played.
oh man.
So we'd be on the L with our helmet and shoulder pads, with our
Uh-huh.
uniform on. Well, in
Oh
the early
man.
days, they took us. We came out. We weren't D anything, and they
Oh,
took us down. They took us down to Alabama, and we
uh-huh.
played Bear Bryant's junior college. And
Okay.
this is where all the kids that couldn't make Alabama. This is where they went.
Yeah.
Everybody there was at least 6'3", and about 220, 230, 250. Man, we got beat 66-0. That was the
See?
worst. That was the worst football game of my life. I
See?
was in the middle of the game. I got hit so hard. I was playing wide out. I got hit so hard. I came over. I told the coach. I said, "Man, I got to play defense now, man. I can't play."
Right.
I said, "Let me
Right.
play
That's right.
quarterback."
Do I want to do this?
I know, I know. Hey, so now as you moved on up, you ended up at CU. Now, which team? Who was the quarterback then? You
Man, we
remember?
had so many quarterbacks. We had
I
so
know, I
many
know.
quarterbacks. So many.
This was kind of during some of the down years at CU, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was, yeah. And this was another reason why the book was inspired, because it's like those in the building and those in the department work extremely hard. And it was just, I don't know what to call it, but we had so many people coming and going. Like I said, this is another reason why Misinformed was inspired, because we were having down years, but we had good players and we had hardworking staff. So I had like 4 head coaches, 3 head coaches my
Wow,
time at CU.
wow.
Yeah,
You
it
think they're
was.
turning the corner up there now?
Yeah, I like Coach Carl. They just had a situation, that they were dealing with, coach leaving and everything like that. But like I like how they bounce back, and that's how life is. It's not what happens; it's how you respond. They got Coach
Go
they
ahead.
got Coach
I'm
Car-
sorry.
they got Coach Carl, and he's back and he's assembling a good staff. So I wish for the best. They have a lot of great young men up there, a lot of great staff in the building. The record does not reflect the work that's being put in,
Right.
and I hope that this year it does, because CU, it's a good place, good people, a lot of hardworking people. Even when I was there, we just couldn't put it together.
Now, were you
Um,
still in the Big 12 then, or had they made the
Yeah, we were
switch
in the
yet?
Big 12. We were in
Okay.
the Big 12. And then we went to the Pac-12. So,
Was that a good move for CU going to the Pac-12?
um, I I I I couldn't tell you, because I didn't I just know tradition.
Right.
Everybody loves the tradition of the Big 12, but I mean everything's changing. So sometimes change is good. But like I said, I had a good time, during my time there. It was nice to play all the Pac-12 teams. Different beautiful places. But it's all about just changing, adapting, and
Sure.
winning.
Sure. And so coming out of college, any did you go to the combine or any offers or anything like that?
I mean, I didn't. So what happened was I actually broke my ankle my senior year.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was a real rough time. I was the guy. Everything was going good. Like the last practice of the summer, broke my ankle.
I do,
you
I do,
know.
I do remember the talk about that. Yeah, that's crazy. And so
Yeah.
you wound up continuing to play though at some level.
Yeah, well, I took the whole. I tried to come back. We tried to talk to NCAA. They denied my medical request. So I was like, wow. So I had to miss that. I missed my whole senior year pretty much. You know, I was in downtime. It's funny because CU, and when I got there, my one of my coaches was Eric Bieniemy,
Okay.
and this was a guy who still to this day, big brother, has had a huge impact on my life. And he actually inspired my first book, which is called Out the Cage. But he had they had let their staff go, and EB went with the Chiefs. And after I was going through everything, he called me at the end of the draft. You know,
Hmm.
which was my senior year. He called me, and invited me out. But I couldn't go. I was still recovering.
Right. Right.
Them ankle injuries are no joke.
No.
So, he called. If I was ready to go, then obviously I would have been there. Um, so yeah, that didn't happen. But it was cool to get the call and get the what I
Yeah.
mean, want you. That was cool. But like I said, just the medical and the ankle and everything it wasn't cooperating.
Right.
Um, so what
So
happened was I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get right, and that's when I got right, um, healed up, and I called him. I'm like, AEB, I'm ready, but things go so fast. It's like on to the next. It's like, yo, stay ready and everything like that. So I'm like, I'm gonna go play arena. I played arena with the Colorado Crush, in the IFL. Did amazing there. That was a good experience. Um, and that's when I went back and I went to go visit EB, trying to get that spot back. Like, I'm ready, I'm ready. Um, and this is what really transformed everything for me. He was like, you know, I want you. He told me he was like, you'd be good at doing this, and what he was talking about was player development. Um, and that's what I do now. But he really opened my eyes to it. And what player development is pretty much just assisting athletes with their development, their growth. Off the field, a holistic approach. Just really being an advocate for the athletes.
that's
And that's
awesome.
what I do now.
Was
So.
Danny Poole up there with you when you were there? Yoga Danny, the brother with the cowboy hat that taught yoga. That was
Uh,
more with Coach Mack, right? Back a little bit further.
yeah. Way back, way back.
How about this? This is one that's always puzzled me. How come Dave Logan has never gone for that CU coaching job? I know he loves working with high school kids, but wouldn't he be a good college coach?
I think he would be a great coach, but I think he does so much
Yeah,
that I think he just does so much. A great guy doing a lot of great work. He has a lot of you know avenues that he's going down. He does a
sure.
lot. He's obviously the voice for the Broncos. Just doing many things, but I mean, high school is where it's at, and he's doing his thing. So
Yeah.
um,
Now,
yeah,
do you ever go out there to the facility that Chauncey opened up, where they do the
yeah,
development, player development
yeah,
out there as well?
yeah.
Is that where
I,
you, do you work out of there at all?
No, so what I do, man, I'm an educator, man. When I talk about this development, I'm teaching things like violence prevention. Obviously, you see a lot of athletes,
Yep.
they come up and they're entitled. Obviously, I do not want to shame this guy, but Ray Rice, that situation was just terrible, and we saw what happened with that situation. So just teaching guys like violence prevention or just decision making and leadership. I'm more in the classroom, so I'm
Gotcha.
I'm at all these high schools, talking to athletes. I mean, but doing that is an organic transition. So I talk to all youth, but with athletes, just teaching them, leadership, decision making, and things of that nature. Obviously, the book speaks to that too. Misinformed. You get a viral dunk nowadays, or you get a one-handed catch, you're all over the internet, and that kind of goes to your head. So just keeping the players humble and helping the teams and these organizations increase their bottom line, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
about.
Well, that's awesome, because so many times young men like yourself who came up with the game, um, get turned around and twisted
Right,
when you have to leave the game. And so
right.
to help young people get back on the right track, that's totally admirable, and it is a very good niche for yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, man, it's something like, I get laughed at a lot as far as people don't see the importance of it,
Oh my gosh.
until their star player is in jail, or until several of their players get suspended,
Yeah.
or just, you know what I mean, and they lose a whole year. So it's
Yeah.
not important until it affects you. You know what I mean? And all I do is I help these teams, protect their assets, which are the players, so they don't become liabilities. You know what I mean? And just at the end of the day, in retrospect, I help young men and women become better people.
There you
And
go.
that's what it is through sports, because like I
That's
said, some
life.
schools, right? Some coaches, you'll get some coaches out there who are good, but a lot of coaches, they recruit and they want the fast guy. They not doing personal development.
Right.
Period.
Right.
They got a coach. You know
Right.
what I mean? And that's what that is, and that's where I come in. Because I love to do it. You might, because I know at my time in CU, you had a lot of guys who were going through a lot of different things. That's why I say we had great players. It was just guys doing dumb stuff or going through a lot of different things.
Yep.
Um, so
Hey,
yeah,
when you're young, you always have issues, man. Whether and it's good when you come out and on the other side and you can look back and you say, yeah, there those were some dumb things we were doing or tried to do or wanted to do,
right,
and
right.
it's always good to have a mentor, staying on the case. I know with some of the Peter Schaefer and some of the agents that were down here in Denver,
Yeah,
and these guys, they would hire me to come in and do media training with like Willie Lowe
exactly.
and some of those guys, and show them how people, reporters will lead them down a road to make them say something that's controversial or whatever. And this was how to avoid making those kind of mistakes. And I found it very rewarding because when the kids would start, to when they finished up the little 6-week program or whatever, by the
Hmm.
time they got through that, they were in a different place, and it was really rewarding to be involved with that, and I'm sure that's the same vibe you get.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's
Well, you
very
talk,
rewarding. It's very rewarding. I had a ton of guys that I've helped who are, doing great things right now. So it's very rewarding. And like I said, when you tell them to just help somebody else, and it just
that,
keeps
that Kansas that Kansas State game, that basketball game, they need your help right there.
what I'm
That
saying.
first
That's what
game,
I'm saying.
huh?
That's what I'm saying. That's the
And
perfect example.
you know what's going to happen on the college level. I mean, it's already starting to happen a little bit, but you're going to, you're going to see the complexion of teams change. Everybody wants to win. Everyone wants the best players and whatnot. But if you got an issue that you can't control your temper and stuff like that, a lot of players are going to end up not being drafted, or picked or given scholarships. They'll
Wait,
just
wait,
go
wait.
with
Say
they'll go
say
with
that
the other
again.
guys. They'll
Say
go
that
with the
again.
other guys. Say it
Say
again.
that one more time. Say that one more time.
I know.
So the people who watch this, they can hear that, because
Yeah.
that's what I've been trying to say. And people have been like I said, I've seen this. You know what I mean? Playing with some of the best players, I've seen this. We think that coaches just look at our talent, at our skill, you know what I mean, and even our grades, but it's some creeping in, this character. You can't hide no more, because look at me, we're talking through this app. You
I
can't
know.
hide anymore. Camera phone, somebody, you at a bar, somebody gonna pull out a phone and you record it. We can't hide like they used to do back in the day. And that's all I'm saying. Why not, help these young people? You know what I mean? Because plenty of people, the best people growing up from where I'm from, didn't make it
Yeah.
due to that. So you're right. Spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on,
And
John.
so talk I was just aware of Misinformed, but you say you have the first book was the Unleash
Out
the
the
Cage,
cage.
Out the
Out
Cage.
the
Okay.
cage.
So talk a little bit about what got you into writing that. How did what put pen to paper?
Um, so I was going around doing a lot of motivational speaking. And then it was a time where I just was like, let me give the people something, that everybody can have. You know what I mean? I can't be in every place at once. And I just like, I'm gonna write a book. My little brother, he's a couple years younger than me. He wrote a book about his life and everything and what he's been through. His name is CJ Manning, and he wrote a book called Blindfolded. And it took him a while to do that. And we were watching him, and he's the one who made it possible. I'm like, you know what? I want to write a book. And pretty much it just talks about my time from CU, and then just kind of looking back at my life. and then it talks to the reader, of this concept of what's the cage, and what's your cage, and we look at it, what holds you back essentially,
Wow.
um, from flying. If you look at a bird in the cage, what's keeping you from flying as a person? And mine was my attitude, and I shared that with people. My attitude, and another cage of mine was, you know, uh, caring too much about what people think. Just
Right.
all these things that kept me from soaring in life. And I tell stories of, even my time at CU with Coach B and me, and me being in a place of mediocrity. And it's like, yo, you got to break that. You got to break out of that.
That's
Be
awesome.
great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So out the cages, it's a
And so
special.
that obviously uh, covered a portion of your life, and then to finish up on a little bit more of your life, you come out with Misinformed.
Yeah, misinformed. So out the cage is a out the cage is a journey. It's special. Um, misinformed is misinformed takes it to another level. Misinformed isn't even a it's parts and bits and pieces have to do with me, but misinformed is a journey of a young man, in his journey, to self actualization and things like that. Like misinformed is
Hmm.
that's doing so good, and I'm happy about it, because a lot of people are impacted by it, but misinformed, I'm just a messenger. It's for everybody. It's for us.
Yeah. Now, so would you at this point, how do people get in touch with you, and how do people find you? You know, like coaches or teachers or schools or districts. Do you
Yeah,
work
you
with all of that, or do you work outside the school system a little bit as
all
well?
of that. I'm in and out. I'm in the school system and outside. You can find me if you want to get into contact with me. Jford at outthecage.com, or you can go to outthecage.com as well. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's as well. You can find the books there as well.
What do your friends say when they read the books?
My friends, because Out the Cage is supplemental, so it's really about the person. The person takes away what they need from it, because my cage might not be your cage. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like I was talking to, one of the kids, and I'm gonna be real honest for a minute. I was talking to, one of the kids. He was real good, play receiver, man, and he was just like, my cage is that I can't. He said he was honest with me. He was like, my cage was self doubt. I'm like, okay. He's like, self doubt was his cage. And we just, I'm like, well, now like, let's figure out how to break out of that. And then we got the
Exactly.
book. He really liked it. He was like, yo, it's real. You know what I mean? And a lot of my friends, because a lot of stuff, you're supposed to be like, hey, but my friends really took to it, um, as well as misinformed. Misinformed was like a lot of people were blown away by it. Just a great story.
Yeah, yeah. And when you see what has happened over the last several months, well, if you could talk to all of those young people who others are trying to help, I mean, what do you tell them about you? Sometimes you feel like your cage is, I can't get out, and I don't
Yeah.
really have a future. I can't see past, next week. What do you tell them?
I mean, you just got to show love. First and foremost, it just starts with love. Like, um, and a lot of people put the self-fulfillment prophecy on a lot of these young men out here, and label them and things like that. But I mean, it just starts with love. A lot of people, like I said, a lot in my work, like a lot of kids have been through a lot. A lot of people do not care about these kids, and then it's
Right,
too late. People want to step in and make themselves look good. But it's an approach you have to take. You can't just do one big rally or things like that. You got to really be out here. Obviously, you're not going to save every kid, and that's that. You know what I mean? But
right.
I mean, I don't provide my opinion without opportunities or things like that. But I will just say to the young men out there, like, um, you just figure out what they want, and take the time to work with them. Like I do work with a lot of young men, and really do this. So it's love, and it's figuring out what they want and help them. It's crazy because I just watched. I don't know if you've seen Gemini Man,
Not yet.
but
Not yet.
that's a great movie. That's a great movie because it's pretty much Will Smith like going at his younger self, man.
Oh,
And
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, man, and it's speaks to this because it's powerful. But like I said, it could go back to even my cage. What these young men are going through can go back to when my cage of what people think about you. That was my cage, caring too much about what people think about you. So I might just, you know, want this person to like me or accept me, or I might need that validation.
Yeah, yeah. The Black Mayor of Denver, 12 years running almost. Is there something more that he needs to do?
I mean, I don't think it's I think it's on everybody. I don't think it's just on one
Family?
person.
Is it
It's
family as well?
it's social responsibility. It's not on one person. It's on everybody. Like I said, it aligns with nature. I was watching a documentary last night. It was talking about rogue elephants and how elephants, when like if like your dad gets poached, like the boy elephants, they just go around, they killing everybody, rhinos and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or if some have elephants have good memory. So if something happens to the elephants, like they see something happen, they're scarred for life,
yeah,
and that relates to these young people. You know what I mean? I'm not
yeah,
gonna. Something has happened, and like I said, it's just I don't know. Just people just should just be authentic and really about what they say they're about. You know what I mean? It's a problem, but we shouldn't wait till something happens to be like, oh, like really, you'll see the signs.
yeah,
There's always smoke before the fire.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so don't. When people wait till it's fire full flame, be like, oh, and try to come with
I
a little
know.
squirt gun or a water bucket. Like, nah, and there's a lot of good people out here who's really doing the good work. So shout out to everybody. Like I said, it's a marathon. Just keep up the great work, and yeah,
Yeah. Now you're still in touch with BNME, right? And that whole
yeah,
Kansas City program. How about how about that team and how they made a run? I mean, I've been watching football a long time. I've never seen a team get down so badly and win so good by such a large margin in 3 or 4 games in a row. I mean, it was pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, it was a hell of a run to the title.
yeah. Hard work, dedication, belief, man. Coach is a phenomenal coach. It's a great story to watch, from his journey, man. And that team, they just play for the person next to him, and at the end of the day, they do the things necessary to win, and just a great story, man.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
fun to watch, and it just shows you a lot about life. When you're down, you need to get up and pout and argue with the people next to you. You can rally everybody and just keep pushing, stay positive, and you see what happens.
Yeah, because that game back in October when Mahomes went down with the knee injury trying to quarterback sneak, and then the Broncos, you figure, well, okay, the one of the best players in the game is out, and the Broncos still couldn't beat him.
Yeah, it's the team, and like I said, they prepared and they played hard, and like I said, I feel like they should have had two Super Bowls. Honestly, I felt they should have won it last year. Um, but things happen,
Yeah,
or the year before. Um, it was one of those shoot, maybe even the last 2 years, but they got it done, and they just play for each other. It's a great program, and I see them, having success for more years to come. Just because of the camaraderie and the brotherhood and just the professionalism that they display.
are you married? Do you have children? Have you started that part of your career yet?
Yeah, I have a great family. You know, yeah, I have a great family.
Will you let your son or your daughter play football?
Um, it's tough, whatever my kids want to be.
You got their back.
You never want to, you never want to play. I mean, obviously, if we'll see how things keep going. You obviously want to protect them, but you never want to limit them. So whatever they want to do when they get older, I'll guide them and protect them. But obviously, I'm not gonna say what they can or can't do.
There you go. There you go. And so what has football taught you about life?
Oh man, control what you can control. Um,
Control your emotions.
control what you can control. This is just every aspect. It can be from emotions to, you know, I mean everything. It's a universal concept. You got to control
Sure.
what you can control. Um, and I learned that in football to where, and it carries outside of life to where let's say I'm trying to take a flight somewhere, and let's say they delay the flight. I'm not gonna be mad or yelling at the flight attendant. Football has taught me this, because you got to control what you can control.
Yeah.
We can't control the weather, so the
Yeah.
plane can't go. You know what I mean? And that deals with, you see a lot of coaches leaving, you see a lot of coaches doing this and that, you see a lot of programs going in different. You just got to control what you can control, and that's your attitude, your effort, your work ethic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what football has taught me about life. And yeah, man.
That's it. That's it. Hey, man, it's good talking with you, Josh. Now, are you working with young people right now as we speak through this part of the season, going into the summertime?
Yeah, I'm year round with it. With the out the cage, I'm year round with it. Different programs, workshops. You obviously have Donnie Moore in America's Youth Sports. So Donnie always got something going on that I partner with him on. You have Athletics and Beyond, just a bunch of great programs out here that are doing great work. So the work never stops. And, I like to partner and volunteer and help. So it's continuous.
That's it. That's it. And if there was one thing you haven't been able to do in your life that you want to do, what would that be?
One thing, go to Dubai. Very random, but I've always wanted to go to Dubai and see what it's like. I've seen, like, you see the images and things like that, and you hear about it, and you see the reviews. So it looks like a cool place, man. So yeah, random, but
Yeah.
it's real.
Hey, no, hey, and it's only 12 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't
Yeah,
like
so
it ain't like you can't get there. My
yeah,
daughter called me up for her 40th birthday. She said, "Dad, I'm going. Where did she go? Tahiti." I was like, "Okay, okay."
yeah. See,
You know, hey,
yeah, there we go.
you do. Hey, man, very good talking with you, Josh. And stay in touch, and continued success with writing and working with young people, and trying to make a difference, because that's what all of this is all about. Just everybody trying to make a difference the best way they know how, the best way they can, and to affect as many people as you can as well along the way.
Likewise, thank you, appreciate it.
All right. Hey, that's going to do it for Gridiron Media this time around. We'll be back again with more talk about football and the gridiron, and how you can be involved. Thanks a lot, Josh. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.